Alright, so here's Rank Up Test 3 in a nutshell, with a very simple lineup, a very simple strategy, but not a simple execution. So to start off the stage, you'll want to upgrade your wallet, and then start sending out a bunch of slime cats to chip at the 3 Sir Seals that spawn at the beginning of the stage. Now half the time they will die without getting any damage off, and so if you want to guarantee some damage, you can send one out with a cone cat to take the brunt of the damage, because you will want at least one of them dead in order for this next part of the strategy to work. I get a little greedy and try going for a third, but that's absolutely not needed. Send out Row and then Earl and then Bullet Train to double bounty the second Sir Seal, and then kill the third. Now, your goal for this entire segment is to keep the Midnight D at bay while you brutally decimate the local seal population. And keep in mind, these Sir Seals are incredibly buffed, each having 150k HP each, which is abnormal, and they are most likely taking steroids. But yeah, once your Sniperpunk stack is out on the field and every other enemy is wiped off the face of the earth, which I failed to do here because I am the worst player to ever touch this game. Thus begins the next phase of the fight, where you will ideally kill your Earl and then proceed to stall the Midnight D for the rest of eternity. Or at least it feels that way, because you will have to repeat this process each and every single time you fail this stage, which is going to be a lot. Sinner Snatches will continuously spawn purely to make your life more difficult, and you have two main methods of dealing with them, both of which I failed here because I am the worst person to have ever touched a video game. Regardless, both your Slime Cat and Bullet Train will deal enough damage to instantly kill the Sinner Snatch in one attack. Or at least that's what I would say if it didn't have like around 100 more HP than that, which means it will survive at full HP, but that doesn't really matter. What does matter is the occasional death surge which it leaves behind, which can occasionally hit your Sniperpunk stack as a final middle finger, in case you do beat the enemy but too closely to your Sniperpunk stack for the game's liking. Disregard the cut, I was just turning on my cheats and my auto clicker to make this stage easy. But in all actuality, once you have two Sniperpunk stacks out on the field, it becomes exponentially more difficult to prevent Midnight D from both pushing forward and getting pushed backwards. Because Sniper the Deadeye does what Sniper the Deadeye will, and once his shield breaks, he begins to start getting pushed back to an absurd degree until his shield regrows, which is something that you don't want, because both your Sniper the Deadeye and Cyberpunk Cat will begin to move forward, buying you a lot less room between the enemy stage and you. By the time your Sniperpunk cooldown reaches around half, your wallet will typically have already been long maxed out, and all of your units should be off cooldown, hopefully. Once you're ready to proceed, spawn in Luza and Earl in order to start pushing forward towards the enemy base, all while dealing damage to the Midnight D. You will still want to continuously spawn Cone Cats in order to prevent your Earl from taking unnecessary damage, because too much damage can mean game over if you fail to send out Cone Cat the moment it goes off cooldown. Your Earl should be off cooldown by this point, so if you haven't, send him out. Midnight D should hopefully die right before reaching the enemy base, and the moment he does, you will want to stop sending out slime cats immediately. In comes Black Okame and Vermilingua Rangmaster. These two are incredibly synergistic and cover each other's weaknesses very well. And they are supported by a cavalcade of infinitely spawning Cerseals and Sorels that want nothing more than to take a bite out of your Earl. And this is where your Slime Cat and Bullet Train will come in, as while your Sniperpunks are pushing back Black Okame, you will want to use your Bullet Trains and Slime Cats to prevent as much damage from being inflicted onto Earl as possible. Now, by this point, your second Earl should have already reached the field a long time ago, and your first Earl as well as Ape Lord Luza are no longer with us. But by this point, they should have done enough damage to knock back Vermilingua Rangmaster at least twice, if not 3 times. This is the ideal range that you want him in for the next phase of the fight. Unfortunately, you will have to say goodbye to your Cyberpunk cats and Sniper the Deadeyes because they are not long for this world. And soon, Ancient Megamajo will spawn as well to make things a little more complicated. Even with this, continue to lure Rangmaster until he reaches the base. By that point, your Earl should be off cooldown, and so should your Ape Lord Luza, which means you'll be able to completely destroy him right before the Ancient Megamajo arrives on the field a little while later. Once you have the perfect opportunity, send in EDNX to swiftly deal with the rest of Megamajo's HP, because Edie is an absolute monster and eats through his entire health bar in just a few seconds. Black Okame is still playing catch-up, and she should hopefully not arrive before you finish the deed. Once Megamajo is dead, you are still not in the clear just yet because there is still one more threat that spawns, and that is one stupid Sorel that you have to deal with before you have achieved the epic victory. But when he is dealt with, your Sniper the Deadeye and Cyberpunk cat should be off cooldown, which means as soon as you can, send them out before Black Okame completely and utterly destroys your base. In my personal example, I was cutting it real close and almost died to Black Okame, but that's mainly just because I am the worst person to have ever touched any form of media whatsoever, and yours should look a lot better than mine did. Now, from this point moving forward, your goal is to defend from the Center Snatches, Cerseals, and Sorels, which will continuously try to break through your wall of Rocats. And your Rocats are essentially the only thing separating Black Okame from your Sniperpunk stack and your base, because if Black Okame gets to your Sniperpunk stack, it is essentially over. Now, I'm going to give you a few tips on how to deal with this phase of the fight, because it is a little complicated and there is still a reasonable chance that you fail here, although if you do, don't sweat it, because I have died at that final stage many times. Firstly, you don't have to worry about money at all because the Cerseals that spawn every 20 seconds happen to drop an inheritance post-mortem. Second, save your ED for the Sorels that spawn every 60 seconds or so because they pose a far greater danger than the other two peons combined. That's only a slight exaggeration, but they are still dangerous. And finally, the Cerseals are going to continuously give Black Okame the opportunity to push forward, which means you will also have to deal with them very quickly to prevent them from stacking up. While I personally chose Talented Heavy Assault CAT, you can pick Courier Cat for more comfort. I personally did it to deal with the Black Okame. Even with that, this segment of the fight is still the easiest one in the entire level, and you should have relatively no problems unless your Sniperpunk stack gets completely and utterly destroyed. Even then, you should still be fine so long as you can get another one up before Black Okame reaches the base. Regardless, just keep spamming Rocats and you should win. Here's a montage of me continuously failing to do even that much. So, once you've defeated Black Okame, you've basically beaten the stage. Out of the 3 Cat Claw Championship Rank 12 stages, this is definitely the hardest to do Uberless, and just the hardest in general. It's the only one out of the 3 stages that can't be cheesed with any specific Uber. Well, I mean, besides He Who Shall Not Be Named, but if you elect to actually do the stage as intended, it is absolutely the most brutal one of the 3. But even with that, it's still pretty easy. I mean, difficult. Yeah, see ya.